Over decades of reporting from military operators, defense analysts, and intelligence officers, consistent and credible accounts have emerged of unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP. These are not isolated stories from fringe observers, but coherent datasets derived from trained personnel, often under combat or surveillance conditions. UAPs have repeatedly demonstrated physical characteristics and behaviors inconsistent with known technologies. From instantaneous acceleration without sonic booms to direct interference with advanced radar and communication systems, these objects have routinely defied conventional explanations. The United States government has collected and analyzed UAP data since the early Cold War, with multiple intelligence documents indicating persistent interest by the Department of Defense, DoD, National Security Agency, NSA, and foreign adversaries. Defense UMINT reporting plays a crucial role in this process, as trained observers, such as fighter pilots, naval operators, and satellite intelligence technicians, log interactions with UAPs that are then cross-referenced with sensor data. What has emerged from this process is a series of recurring behavioral archetypes, hovering motionless before darting at hypersonic speeds, maneuvering in deliberate proximity to sensitive military assets, and creating electromagnetic anomalies that disrupt onboard systems. These behaviors are not random. They are tactical and consistent across time and geography, whether in the Persian Gulf, over U.S. nuclear missile fields, or within restricted airspace. UAPs display what appear to be intent-driven maneuvers, often shadowing U.S. or Allied aircraft. Furthermore, personnel often describe physiological and psychological effects, feelings of being watched, altered time perception, or sudden nausea when in proximity to these objects. The combined nature of these reports suggests that the phenomena are not simply mechanical or environmental anomalies. They reflect an advanced intelligence or a sophisticated control system, one that demonstrates awareness of its observers. Across this landscape of strange, powerful, and repeatable encounters, one truth becomes clear. The phenomena are real, physical, and measurable, and they are interacting with our strategic defense systems. The question is no longer if they are real, but what they are and who has known. Defense UMINT reporting and sensor data categorize UAPs into several recurring shapes, each with distinct behaviors and emissions. The data does not support a single class of technology or origin. UAPs are not a single category of object or behavior. Reports and sensor captures consistently group them into 6 primary forms, each with unique signatures and flight profiles. Spheres and orbs. These range from small basketball-sized objects to multi-meter floating spheres. Often metallic or luminescent, they hover silently and can accelerate in any direction without visible propulsion. Many have been observed forming coordinated arrays or mimicking surveillance behavior near warships and nuclear facilities, disks, or saucers. Perhaps the most iconic UAP shape, disc-like craft, have appeared in multiple theaters of operation. Witnesses describe them as metallic, often polished or light-emitting, capable of vertical lift and high-speed traversal with no audible noise. Tic-tac, or oval-shaped UAPs. Popularized in post-2000 military disclosures, these smooth white craft exhibit extraordinary agility. Flight logs show these objects accelerating from stationary to supersonic in seconds, altering trajectory mid-flight without inertia-based deceleration. Triangular UAPs. Reported. Since the 1980s, these are often dark, matte black or gray, with corner lights and central emissions. Sometimes seen floating silently over urban areas or military installations, their enormous size and light emission patterns suggest possible reconnaissance functions. Boomerang arrowhead craft. With large aerodynamic wingspans and minimal surface features, these objects have been seen gliding at low altitudes or performing extreme angle maneuvers. Their ability to blend with the night sky makes them especially difficult to track. Irregular or organic forms. Less commonly observed but deeply anomalous, these objects defy classical aerospace shape categories. Their motion can be erratic, sometimes appearing biological or amoebic. In some cases, they emit energy signatures in the ultraviolet or infrared spectrum. Each of these categories resists explanation within known aerospace science. They lack aerodynamic control surfaces, heat plumes, or jet exhaust. Their speeds and turns violate inertial physics, and their intelligence-guided interactions suggest a control system of non-human or post-terrestrial sophistication. Despite growing volumes of validated data, the U.S. government has consistently engaged in bureaucratic suppression of UAP intelligence. Internal records show repeated denials of the existence of Special Access Programs, SAPs, linked to reverse engineering or monitoring of UAPs. Compartmented programs, such as those tentatively identified as Immaculate Constellation, have operated without full congressional or presidential oversight, often under defense contractors or intelligence cover. Programs like ATIP, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, and AWSAP, Advanced Aerospace Weapon System Applications Program, produced compelling evidence of TUO, technologies of unknown origin, yet were defunded or discredited in official channels. Career defense intelligence officers have testified under oath that key findings were suppressed, and that whistleblowers faced reprisals for attempting disclosure. Even high-clearance briefings to oversight committees have been denied access to legacy data on recovered materials or biological effects. Why? The answer likely lies in a combination of geostrategic secrecy and sociopolitical risk. Admitting that non-human intelligences have engaged with our military would not only upend public understanding of reality, but would trigger a cascade of questions regarding energy, weaponization, existential intent, and past cover-ups. The balance between strategic advantage and moral duty has so far favored silence. Yet adversarial nations, particularly China and Russia, are themselves investing heavily in UAP tracking and exploitation. SIGINT reports confirm near-identical encounters over foreign missile silos, naval installations, and intelligence compounds. That alone justifies international coordination and disclosure. But the deeper truth is even more urgent. If these entities are not Russian, Chinese, or American, then their origin lies elsewhere. And in that case, secrecy becomes indefensible. The history of government awareness and intelligence collection regarding UAPs dates back at least to World War II, with the appearance of so-called Foo Fighters trailing Allied aircraft. Post-war intelligence analysis, particularly during the inception of the CIA and NSA, recognized the implications of unidentified aerial phenomena as not just aviation anomalies, but potential strategic threats or indicators of non-terrestrial intelligence. Declassified FBI memos from the late 1940s and subsequent CIA reports in the 1950s acknowledged unexplained aerial intrusions over secure military airspace, but internal policy consistently opted for minimization or dismissal in the public arena. By the 1960s, the U.S. Air Force's Project Blue Book officially cataloged over 12,000 UAP sightings, 701 of which remained unexplained after investigation. What was publicly presented as a debunking effort was, in reality, only one layer of analysis. Behind the scenes, multiple special access programs had begun tracking what would later be categorized as non-human craft recovery operations. Evidence now emerging through congressional whistleblower testimony indicates that legacy programs managed by contractors and defense entities recovered crashed debris, or even intact craft, and that analysis of these materials revealed metallurgy, isotopic ratios, and structural engineering beyond current scientific understanding. What often escapes public notice is the biological and physiological impact these phenomena have had on humans. Defense documents reviewed by AAWSAP in the early 2000s cataloged over 200 cases of UAP-induced physiological damage among military and civilian personnel. These include radiation burns consistent with microwave exposure, neurological effects, including memory lapses, seizures, and disorientation, electromagnetic hypersensitivity, triggered by proximity to UAPs or associated energy fields, blood anomalies, and immune system dysregulation. In some cases, personnel developed long-term health conditions following UAP interactions, despite the absence of visible injury at the time. Several intelligence reports reference proximity illness patterns, where personnel exposed to close encounters exhibit overlapping symptoms, such as sudden onset nausea, internal bleeding, or organ inflammation. More disturbingly, some defense contractors have allegedly been involved in collecting and analyzing biological samples associated with occupant-related materials. These include claims, still under closed-door review by Congress, of recovered non-human tissue or biologically anomalous cellular structures found in crash debris or contaminated environments. If confirmed, the implications are unprecedented. Interactions with an intelligence or technology so advanced that it is capable of interfering with the human nervous system and altering biological function. This is not merely an aviation or defense issue. It is a biomedical and ontological challenge that requires open scientific inquiry. UAP phenomena are not confined to U.S. airspace or intelligence monitoring. Over the last 3 decades, foreign military organizations, including those of China, Russia, Brazil, France, and India, have documented encounters with similar high-performance aerial objects. The United Kingdom's Defense Intelligence Staff issued classified assessments in the 1990s outlining aerial vehicles of unknown origin that interfered with RAF interceptors and NATO radar installations. In recent years, Chinese defense analysts have publicly acknowledged the formation of UAP task forces under their Air Force and Rocket Forces commands. Open-source Chinese-language defense journals describe AI-powered adaptive pattern recognition systems designed to track anomalous objects in Earth's atmosphere. Russian military documents dating back to the Soviet era also acknowledge UAP phenomena, including a now declassified case in 1982 where a swarm of unknown aerial craft allegedly disabled nuclear launch systems at a missile base in Ukraine. Signals intelligence, gathered via both U.S. and Allied satellite platforms, has independently verified the presence of transmedium vehicles, objects that enter Earth's atmosphere from exoatmospheric positions, maneuver underwater, and re-emerge without a loss in momentum. Given the shared pattern of interest and data among world powers, it is clear that UAPs represent a global phenomenon. The widespread yet compartmentalized treatment of these incidents across defense establishments suggests a collective stalemate. Defense, human reporting, and sensor data categorize UAPs into several recurring shapes, each with distinct behaviors and emissions. The data does not support a single class of technology or origin. Sphere and orb UAPs range from small to several meters in diameter, capable of hovering and rapid acceleration, often lacking heat or radar signatures. Disk or saucer UAPs, several meters to over 20 meters in diameter, demonstrate high-speed movement, silent hovering, and rapid vertical ascents. Oval or tic-tac UAPs, 6 to 40 meters in size, exhibit instant acceleration without sonic booms and rigid flight control. Triangular UAPs, ranging from fighter aircraft to football field size, demonstrate precision hovering and silent operation. Boomerang or arrowhead UAPs, with wingspans exceeding 30 meters, combine low-speed gliding with high-speed maneuvers. Finally, irregular or organic UAPs show highly variable, often amorphous shapes with erratic, unpredictable motion patterns. Strategic transparency and the case for disclosure. The time for obfuscation is over. For decades, governments, led primarily by the U.S., have shielded the UAP subject behind layers of national security, plausible deniability, and classification barriers. Yet the very patterns of control that once served to protect against panic or technological leakage now threaten to undermine global trust, scientific progress, and democratic oversight. Congressional pressure has mounted in recent years. With the passage of the 2022 and 2023 National Defense Authorization Acts, lawmakers have demanded transparency on legacy UAP programs, mandating disclosure of previously hidden operations and the release of non-Earth origin material if it exists. The formation of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office and the subsequent establishment of a federated UAP reporting system for military and civilian pilots represents a significant shift toward normalization. Still, major barriers remain. Powerful defense contractors may control proprietary UAP data and materials under decades-old agreements with intelligence agencies. These private entities operate beyond congressional oversight, shielded by a network of legal exemptions and non-disclosure mechanisms. Even within government, only a select few special access clearances can access the deepest UAP files, far beyond the reach of most elected officials. Yet the risk of continued secrecy now outweighs the risk of disclosure. If these phenomena involve non-human intelligences, as mounting evidence strongly suggests, then suppressing the truth does not protect the public, it handicaps it. Our scientists cannot study what they are not allowed to see. Our leaders cannot prepare for what they are not briefed to understand. And our citizens cannot consent to policies shaped by entities they do not know exist. A new framework is required. Transparency must become strategic. This means establishing international UAP data sharing agreements, mandating scientific review of recovered materials, and removing contractor control from the analysis of exotic technologies. The UAP question is not only a defense or science issue, it is a civilizational one. Humanity stands at the edge of understanding a profound reality, that we are not alone, and we may not be in control of our own airspace. The answers may not come easily, but they must come before others with different intentions find them first.